Good afternoon and welcome to Klingspor's Woodworking Shop, Abrasive and Proud of It product spotlight for Thursday, March 3rd. Today we're going to be talking about the Shaper Origin and then the March deal they have going on till the 16th of March. I'm Mike Z in the studio. Chris is in his studio. And what do we got, Chris?
We got a Shaper, Mike. A Shaper
What's
Origin, to be exact.
What's a Shaper Origin do?
Well, continuing with our talks about CNC, we didn't want to leave the Shaper Origin out because it is a CNC. It looks like a router and sounds like a router, and you push it around your workpiece like a router. But apart from that, it's CNC. It runs off of vectors. It follows lines. There's a nice little screen on here that tells you where to stay within line. This router motor is actually moves up and down and side to side, so it helps you stay in the lines. And what's nice about that is if you veer outside the lines, unlike when you're a kid and you colored outside the lines and that color was there, this thing actually raises up and and eliminates the cut. So the nice thing about that is it helps you keep a straight cut, even if the cut is curved. It'll help you stay in the lines and keep that thing looking clean. But this is a very innovative tool. They have taken a small router and put it into a CNC type portable handheld format, and it's transformed the woodworking industry, because doing large inlays in a floor, or whether you're trying to do small projects, the Shaper Origin will get it done. And it comes in a variety of different options. You have your main Shaper Origin, and then there's a ton of different accessories that are available for it. So we're going to look at some of those today, and then we're going to watch a short video later, and then we're going to cover some of the things on the promo, which if you're interested in getting into the Shaper Origin, now would be the time. I believe there's up to $500 savings if you bought the Shaper Origin and Workstation bundle, as with everything else that gets included in that package. That is quite the deal. Okay, so let's just jump right into what we got. We thought, well, we'd let the experts tell you about the Shaper Origin. So, Mike, cue that video.
Meet Shaper Origin, an intuitive handheld CNC router that brings digital precision to the craft of woodworking. Origin has a few tricks up its sleeve. Use your Origin while it makes the necessary real-time adjustments to ensure clean and accurate results. With its easy-to-use touchscreen interface, you can quickly create designs on the spot or upload existing plans. And it's small enough that you can use Origin in the shop or take it with you on site. With Origin, traditional workflows become easier and more reliable. Create fine furniture or cabinetry, cut perfect box joints and inlays, and upgrade your workshop by using Origin alongside existing tools. There are 3 basic steps to working with Origin: scan, design, and cut. Using a marker system to orient itself, Origin is able to create a map on your work surface where you can place your digital files. Create designs on the tool itself, no computer or programming required, or select from the existing design software you already use. You can also download plans and gather inspiration from Shaper Hub, your source for the finest Origin-ready woodworking projects. Place your design using the intuitive on-tool controls. When cutting, you simply steer Origin while it makes the necessary real-time adjustments to ensure clean and accurate results. Stray too far outside the line, and the spindle will automatically and safely retract. By combining Origin with Shaper Workstation, you can align and clamp your work with speed and precision. Tackle even the most difficult projects with ease. With this complete system, you can create accurate mortise and tenon joinery, perfect box joints, and easily fixture difficult pieces. Sometimes you want to just get stuff done. And with on-tool design, you can create precision cuts without ever touching a computer. Using offsets, you can even sneak up on a cut for that perfect fit. Hardware installation is a breeze. With Origin, you can bring CNC to the job, not the other way around. Work anywhere at almost any scale. And by combining Origin with existing tools in your workflow, you can also speed up your production. It's time to upgrade your workshop and unlock your potential. Find out why more professionals rely on Shaper Origin to take their business to the next level by visiting shapertools.com.
Well, obviously, we carry the full line of the Shaper tools and accessories, and this has become quite an interesting tool, and we've got quite a few happy customers.
Absolutely. And so if you have not heard of Shaper, they got started on Kickstarter about over 10 years ago. And during that time, they were noticed by the parent company that owns Festool, Tool Technique Systems. They were invited to participate in a Festool event in the headquarters of Indiana, where the interest grew. Shortly after that, TTS invested in Shaper Tools Company, and then they became part of the TTS group. The companies now within that group are Festool, Shaper Tools, SawStop, and Tano. So all of these companies are recognized in the industry for innovation, quality, and time-saving equipment.
And if you're familiar with Festool, these little boxes would be familiar to you. These are the Tanos boxes, and so a lot of their stuff comes in the Tanos boxes, and that helps you keep everything organized, safe, secure, and keep all your tools and accessories in one location.
Which is very handy if you're going to be on the job.
Mm-hmm. So what we thought we'd do is we'd cover some of the different accessories that are available, and what we've got here in front of us, and then we can talk about that promo as well. Now, one of the cool things about the boxes that the tools and accessories are available in is, again, if you're familiar with Festool, this is a known issue. If not, these have little flaps or locks. In this position like this lid is locked in. In this position, just like this one is in, I can actually rotate this all the way up, and that allows my lid to open. But what's interesting is if you turn these this way, I can now access, I can reach it. There we go. I can now access what's in, do it the wrong way. Sorry, I'm looking everything backwards. There we go. I can now access the lid to this main box. So these boxes stack and lock on top of each other with a series of how you have this front dial open or closed or flat will allow you to either open the box below, rotate that back down, and now I can just open the top lid should I want to. That's a cool little feature that's available on these with these boxes, and a lot of the tools and accessories fit in there. As a matter of fact, this is the sustainer that holds that's part of that promo that's got the foam built inside. And if we look at that from above, you can see that it's nothing but blank foam, which may not sound like much. You don't want to just start cutting on this with a knife or drill bits. Actually, if you get this, Shaper out on their website has plans for utilizing the Shaper tool, and this is one of the first projects they recommend doing, is cutting out the slots for your bits and tools and accessories that would go in this sustainer into this foam using the plans that are, I believe they're still free. If not, they're available on their website and easy to download, and then run those right into your Shaper, and you can let that be your first project, cutting the foam insert.
So you made that look easy.
Go ahead.
You made that look really easy, by the way.
Well, it's easier than I made it look. So this separates, and on the back, there's little locking tabs that lock into this back section, and that's what locks it in place. So this comes right off. Now I've got full access to the tool below. If I need to, rotate that up. Lid opens right up. And now I've got all of my tools. They've packaged this with formed foam, so everything stays safe and secure around the unit. Out of the box, you get a nice section of dust hose, which obviously you want to keep the dust away from your work surface. You get a shield that comes in there, and then your main unit. Everything is already boxed up, packaged, and ready to go in this heavy-duty box. And this is very durable, so you can sit on this, stand on this, whatever you like. But lock that back down, so that's your main Shaper. That's what that would, when you buy one, this is what that looks like coming right out of the box that way. Let me just move this out of the way a little bit. Now, on top of that, we've got the Shaper. Now, if you saw in the video, this router motor moves up and down and all around and side to side. You got a dust port here for easy access to clean out the shavings. The shield is already mounted. That helps encapsulate all the dust into one area to make it easy to pull out. You got 2 buttons here. These are basically your operating control buttons. Press down on the green and it shows on the screen what your design is, and it will then lower your bit and you begin to do the design you created using whatever bit you've chosen. So it's very functional, easy to use. It's got a very wide base, so everything stays nice and flat. You don't have to worry about this thing teeter-tottering like a traditional router base would let you do. This allows you to have a lot of ease of access to whatever project you're working on. Some of the other accessories that are available, you can actually buy this little card. It gives you an extended warranty. So you get this and you get 2 additional years of warranty on the Shaper Pro. That's nice. I mean, it already comes with a nice warranty anyway, but getting this helps you have more security and feel more comfortable buying this machine, because now you know you're going to have that extended warranty. And they do a lot of work with that. So if there's ever any issues, you call them up and they'll fix you right up. We've got a series of bits that are available. Now obviously, these will use any 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch bits, but we typically stock and sell the 1/4 inch end mill spiral, the 1/8 inch end mill spiral, and the 60-degree V. All of these are your 3 main tools. Obviously, there are others that can put in there because this is a router, and with the 1/4 and 1/8 inch collet availability, this allows you to do pretty much anything in that bit range you'd ever want to do. And of course, we offer a full line of other bits. Should you need some other size that's not in their traditional 3, we've got you covered. We do have the collet set as well as an individual collet. This happens to be the 1/8 inch. I didn't have a set that I could bring out here to show you, but essentially a set is all the bits, both with the bit and the collet. Now, this comes with this cool little tool bag, and inside there you got a variety of different things. Obviously, the wrench to change bits, a couple of other size Allen wrenches to do adjustments and tool adjustments and things like that. The main thing about this tape, this is where a lot of people have a lot of questions and get kind of confused. This is really nothing more than QR codes, sort of like that, but you peel off the tape you need, and it allows it to read these coordinates when you go to scan your work area. And this is just a thin paper, so it tears very easily. Lay that out, and as long as your work area, let me bring the Shaper back up here. So if that tape is laid out, the scanner is actually back here. So it's inside here. So you're not actually scanning the area that you're actually going to be cutting. So if I'm here, this is scanning out in this area. And so you want to make sure that you've got plenty of room for that to scan, and then you'll be doing your cutting back here where your cutter's at. It's a little confusing if you think about it, but it works. And so that allows you, really, if it's a small project, you could have a sample board with a lot of tape on it and you never cut into the tape. So if you think about it logically, there's ways you can do this and not have to buy a bunch of tape. But it gives you 2 rolls out of the gate, and having that tape and the availability to scan larger surfaces to create huge long inlays if you're doing floors or countertops where you want decorative inlays, this is a great tool to have, especially if it doesn't fit on a CNC, a traditional CNC. This handheld Shaper Origin is the way to go. Now, not only do they offer the Shaper Origin and all these accessories and storage, but they also offer this workstation. Now, the workstation is quite interesting. It is very well thought out. It's already laid out with sample tape on the platform. This is actually not tape. It's actually embedded or imprinted into the surface, so you don't have to worry about eating into that. This is designed that you're doing all of your work out here, and it's scanning your workpiece here. So if it's a small project within this range, this is more than sufficient to be able to get that done. And so again, this is what gets scanned, and this is your work area, and you would be cutting in this area here. Now, as part of their accessory package, if we look at the front here, we can see that they've got a series of clamp options that are available, and they've got a platform here for your machine to rest on. Now, this flops up like this, and this is adjustable front to back. I'm going to go ahead and pop that off to give you a little better view of the front. So if I were to loosen these clamps, take this board out. If you had a longer board, you could actually do this in sections if you wanted to. So these clamps, they've got a lot of ways to manipulate. They're all T-bolt, but you can actually turn them and bring them up like that, or you can rotate them off either end. You can come down at the bottom, and there's an open area so where you can pull those out there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take these clamps off and set these aside for a moment. Now we're left with this front face. The cool thing about this front face is it locks into this workstation in a number of areas. It's adjustable. You can adjust it up and down based on what your needs may be. And they actually include spoil board strips that can be mounted on top of this. So if you're trying to work something and you're going to be cutting into this, it would be recommended to bring this down to the next row and let your spoil board, and your spoil board would be perfectly flush at the top. And that would allow you to cut into that without damaging your workpiece or the metal that is on this workstation front. Now, this is an adjustable fence. You can loosen this. It actually has angles that tell you what those adjustments are. It can be moved to either side. There's a scale over here on this side. So there's a lot of functionality here. It's not just a milled plate. So let's put the other platform on. And there are those T-slots that run up and down allow for that to engage these brackets that are in the shape of a T-slot. So if we were to lock that in, and these are adjustable, again, you could bring your platform up wherever your desired height might be, and when you're where you need to be, you simply pull that out, and that locks this platform in place. So now you're ready to mill. So we could easily, at that point, come right over. We're going to rotate this way. From above, please. All right, so if we're looking at this way, the scanned area is here, your workpiece is here, and now you're able to mill or do whatever you need to do in this area back here. So this is more of a general platform. The other one allows you to clamp your workpiece into the workstation, which makes it easy to work from the end or the face or the side.
Fantastic. And so the workstation, repeatability, gives you a lot of options as far as doing things like dovetails and joinery, stuff along those lines. You get the clamping face, support board, support arms, angle fence, 4mm wrench, 2 hold down clamps, 4 of those spoil boards. And then you have a maximum height of 9.8 inches, a depth of 18.3, and then a width of 20.3. So assembled, it weighs about 21 pounds. And if you act now until March 16th, there's a deal going on where you get the Origin in the workstation. You'll receive 2 free classes, a free CES1 sustainer. You'll also get project plans by Mr. Philip Morley and complete system discount and free shipping. So what you get basically is $500 off of the combined unit together, both the Shaper Origin and the workstation.
And that's a great deal. If you're looking to get into this and you want that portability, this is a great unit to get started into if you want to get into CNC and do a lot of handheld work. I don't think you'd be disappointed. I have yet to hear a complaint from a customer who didn't like the results that they got using the Shaper. We even had a nice visit with Mr. Andy Berkey a couple of years ago at our extravaganza. And as he put it, for a computer illiterate man, he figured it out pretty quick. And Shaper's got a vast network of already pre-done plans. If you don't have a computer knowledge to be able to create your own designs, if you're looking for something unique or custom, Shaper's got the ability to help you. They offer a service that will allow you to go in there and actually work with their designers, and they'll create the design for you. So Shaper's really come along. They've got a lot of different options to help you out, whether you're someone who's just getting into woodworking or whether you've been a lifelong woodworker and you're wanting to really expand your product and tool base. Shaper can really help you out.
Absolutely. And then on the Shaper tape itself, it uses that encoding marker on there. But what's really cool about it is that if you were to A roll is 150 feet, and it'll do 1.5 4x8 sheets of plywood. So there's plenty of tape to do several projects, and you get 2 of those rolls with every shaper when you purchase one. So that's a
Yeah.
frequently asked question as far as how long is that tape going to go for. Number one, how many times do you put it, space it out? Because there's a lot of different ways. The way on the workstation there, because it's such a smaller area, they're closer, but on bigger pieces, you can make them further apart and still have great accuracy.
Yeah, and if it's something where you're making stuff in your shop and you can use a scrap board as your scanned area. This actually, we've got a lady that works for us that's had shaper for a while, and she said on most of her projects she never cuts into the tape. So there are ways to do that, and obviously, if you're a floor installer and you're trying to do a larger surface, you don't have the ability to create that sort of fake scan surface. But again, it's not that it's that expensive, and there's a lot of it on a roll. So there's plenty of options there, and kind of doesn't work without the tape. So just know that is a consumable for sure.
How far can you space it out? I think that'll all depend on the machine itself and your workspace and your design.
Yeah.
So as far as how far you could push it, if you had a 10 by 10 foot section, then, if basically the reader will tell you if it cannot read between the 2 tapes to match your design. So it all depends on your design and the space you're trying to achieve.
So when you buy it, and you can test that out and let us know what you found is the maximum it will allow you to do.
There you go. And then they recently started a web-based platform that allows you to design directly from that, which is the Shaper Hub. So there's definitely a lot of ways they're constantly innovating and updating. It's a wireless as well as you can do USB, but they're constantly updating the software to where you can get more out of it. So, I mean, it's constantly building, which is kind of nice. You're not stuck with something and then you have to wait 2 years and have to upgrade it and it comes with it. Like, that's what's nice about it. There's constant support for that machine.
Yeah. And they've really spent the money to get the people, and they invested in the people to give you that support. So it's not like you've got one person to call on. They've got plenty of people there to really help you answer questions. I mean, we've been offering Shaper through Cling Spores Woodworking Shop now for a little over a year, I believe.
Well, that was longer than that.
A little longer. But ultimately, we've had 0 complaints that I'm aware of. Our store folks were begging for something like this, and now they're running off the shelves because Shaper has done a great job. They've packaged it well, they've supported it well, and they've given you plenty of accessories. So there's really not a weak point that I'm aware of in the Shaper line.
Other than it can't do 1/2-inch bits. That's really the only downside, is that eighth and quarter. But really, if you think about it, you're in a handheld CNC situation. You're not going to want to do a lot of 1/2-inch bits.
Yeah, and there's ways around that. If you're doing a large surface and you're trying to create a large pocket, you can certainly do the detailed border and maybe a little away from that border with the Shaper, and then that would be easy to come in with a traditional handheld router to do your cleanup. And that would be the only thing I could think of that you would really need a 1/2-inch bit for, is doing a lot of cleanup. So that would be one way around it. You do the bulk of your detail work with the small bits and then handheld the rest of the way. But this would get you what you're really after, which is the detailed portion around your edges, or any if you're doing inlays. This would allow you to do what you're looking for, which is a lot of detail. And with the crisp image and the tracking software that's built in, it's hard to make a mistake.
Yeah. And so Connor's daddy, Mr. IT himself, he has said that the reader actually places a meter in the top corner that shows how efficiently it can read the tape. It's almost like a cell phone service meter. If it's low, add a strip of domino tape.
Mm-hmm.
And so in all 4 of our stores in North Carolina, each one has a demo model. So you can come in the store and actually see, you're not going to cut anything necessarily, but you can actually get a feel for how the machine runs, running whatever demo template they have.
And on those displays, there are several sort of designs that are already built in. So you can hover the machine over there, scan the surface, and then actually air cut around, and if you get outside of that line, you'll get all of the same errors and warnings because it's using that as a general rule. But yeah, go check that out. Ask for a demo at any of the 4 stores. They'll be happy to show it to you.
Very cool. I'm trying to find this. I had this one last video here. I apologize. Thought I had the right one queued up. There we go. And so what this is going to show, what's kind of nice, is that you can enter the depths that you want to cut digitally. And so let's go ahead and let me show you this, because when I was looking through all their videos, I thought, wow, that's innovative and really cool. So hold on. So that is pretty incredible if you think about it, that you're able to drill a hole, you're able to make it to the diameter that you need for your workpiece and joinery. So you can have, and that's kind of one of those things with a lot of the Festool products. So they're taking that technology, is that they make an exact fit, a loose fit, or a force fit. And it's great that you can do all 3 of those with this.
Yeah, and you know, if you've done any woodworking, you've routed in mortise hinges and or tried to route different joints and found sometimes that fits tough. Well, this allows you to actually measure the part that's going into that hole, and you can create it dead on the same diameter or same size, or you can offset that, you know, a couple thousandths just to make sure that it fits snug but still fits. That's how precise and accurate this really is.
Absolutely. So if you have any questions or any other statements or anything at all that you would like us to answer about the Shaper Origin and the Shaper Workstation, as well as the combo for the sale that's going on until the 16th of March, $500 off if you buy the combo pack system, please give us a call. Oops. Sorry about that. Please give us a call at 800-228-0000. You can email us at sales@woodworkingshop.com and visit us at woodworkingshop.com. We do have these in stock.
We do. Ready to ship.
Yep. Let's see how. So it will let you cut outside the intended cutting area. Not quite. So let's see if I've got a graphic real quick for you here, Bear. If you look right here on this picture in the lower left-hand side, you'll see that blue line. That is, it gives you a 1/2 inch on either side of the line. I think it's a 1/2 inch. Basically, it's like give area. So the spindle floats inside of its housing. And so if you were to kind of push on the outside of that line, it will go the opposite direction to keep it where it needs to cut. And then if you go too far, it automatically stops and brings the spindle up. So therefore, you don't cut outside the line, unless you basically really want to push it across really, really hard to make it stop. You might get a slight line, but it does an extremely great job of keeping it exactly where you need it to be.
Yeah, and on the screen, there's little crosshairs, so you know where dead center is. So as long as you try to keep those crosshairs dead center of your cut, you got leeway either side of that the router will actually move automatically to adjust. So, you know, again, it's all based on the tape, it's based on your design, and it's based on what you're trying to do. But this machine really makes it so simple that a kid could do it.
Absolutely. Well, it kind of looks like a big video game. You know, you got a circle and you got a blue line. Just try to keep the circle within the blue line. If you go outside of it, it stops the game.
You lose.
You lose.
You lose a life, you can start over again later.
Well, luckily, you just come right back to the blue line and hit the start button, and it goes right back to it. Now, that is a cool feature, too, is that it will pick up exactly where it left off in its programming. So if you missed a spot, like if you're going over the whole board and you notice there's this one spot that you missed, you can go back over it, hit the button, and it will cut just that spot that's missing. So it's really foolproof. And what, $2,500 somewhere in that neighborhood? I'm trying to think what it is now. So the entire package is $29.49, and of course you get $500 off, so $2,500, and that's with the workstation as well as the Shaper Origin. But just the Origin itself, as it is $25.99. So it's a great deal to go ahead and get the workstation and the Shaper, and you actually get it cheaper than buying the Shaper Origin alone.
Yeah. If you're going to invest, go ahead and invest and get everything you need.
Yep. Ooh.
But popular item, great quality, great service, a lot of great accessories. Buy it at this great company.
Yeah, woodworkingshop.com. One thing I will note is that Mr. Berkey was probably the best at presenting this, is that he did 100-year-old church, cathedral type designs, and he was trying to recreate them. And he was able to send it to Shaper, and they were able to actually map it exactly to recreate the same shape. So working with Shaper, if you have a very odd shape of something that you want to cut out, or an inlay that you want to make, and you can't find anything to do it, or maybe it might not be something you want to deal with, you can send it to them, and their service will help you tremendously. So that is one thing I can say about Shaper, is that they have the service set up to be able to help you get the job done faster.
Yep. So definitely worth a look. If you got any questions, let us know. There's a ton of videos out there on the Shaper YouTube page. Might be worth a look there as well. And you can see just some of the different innovative ways that people are actually utilizing the Shaper tool to make their job easier and better.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope this was helpful and informative. Again, if you have questions, you can leave them here in the comment section below. You can email us at sales@woodworkingshop.com. Give us a call and ask for Chris. He'll be happy to answer all of your Shaper Origin questions. 800-228-0000. And then, of course, woodworkingshop.com. The lower right-hand side is the chat box, and we'll also be able to help you there. So for Abrasive and Proud of It Product Spotlight, I'm Mike Z.
Still Chris.
Good job. All right. And thank you so much for watching. We hope you guys have a great day.